As you inch closer to retirement or early retirement, let's debunk 3 myths that help pave the way to a fearless journey ahead. Imagine this. Meet John, your typical regular retired person who plans on leaving a pretty hefty amount of money behind to his kids. But one day it hit him. Why not enjoy some of that money now? So John decided to use a chunk of it to create these really cool experiences during his retirement, but with his kids and grandkids. The smiles on their faces and the laughter as they experienced certain things together during retirement became the real treasure. As we bust some of the retirement myths here today, think about the richness of John's journey. And welcome to Retire Strong and Fearless, presented by Protection USA. I'm your host, Rich Strehl. Myth number 1, you should spend less money in retirement to leave more money to your heirs, or your kids in most people's cases. Let's talk about enjoying the fruits of your labor. While it's important to think about what we're going to leave behind to our kids, heirs, beneficiary, even charities, it's important to step back and think about, ponder for a little bit, what it took to get where we are today, all the hard work that went into building this retirement fund. Finding that sweet spot on how much money you want to leave behind to your kids and balancing that with the experiences you want to have for yourself and with your kids and grandkids along the way, that's the name of the game here. Retirement is your chance to cash in on all the hard work you put in to get where you are. It's time to dive into some activities, travel around a little bit, experience some of those things in life that just really light you up. For some, skipping out on these adventures just to be able to leave more money behind to their kids could cause them to experience a fear of missing out. Let's keep it real about your finances. If you have enough money to leave a significant amount behind to your heirs and live that sweet life, well then go for it. That's the sweet spot. But if you're going overboard and you know you're going overboard just to leave that money behind, it's time to come up with a better financial plan. The plan needs to be specific on how much money you're going to leave behind. And by the way, let's talk about communication with your kids or your heirs. Having a conversation with them about what you want to leave behind, how much and why, that's golden. They might actually care more about having those experiences with you and doing things with you in your retirement than a big fat check. I know not all of them will. Some of them, it's about the money, but this is about you and leaving your legacy. Talking it out with them is going to help ensure you guys are on the same page. It's going to help avoid any confusion, or at least minimize it. Leaving a legacy isn't just about the cash that you're going to pass down. Sharing your values, dropping some wisdom, and telling some of those life stories, some of those stories they may not otherwise have got an opportunity to hear. This stuff, guys, can be just as valuable. Bonding during this time with your kids and creating those irreplaceable memories is a solid part of the legacy you'll leave behind. Planning what happens with your stuff when you're gone just isn't about money. It's about finding that sweet spot of what is it you want to leave behind, but also tackling the nitty-gritty details like how much you want to leave to charity or which charities you want to support with some of your money. Oh, and also handling the details of the taxes. Crafting a plan that fits your financial situation and meets their needs, that's the way to go. Myth number 2, Medicare will take care of all of your health care costs during retirement. The reality is Medicare is a must-have. There's no question about it. But it's not that superhero that just covers everything. You got to fill the gaps and think about extra insurance for the full deal. Breaking down this Medicare alphabet. So Part A is for the hospital and Part B is for the doctors. Part C would be a combo of A and B, the doctors and the hospital. And Part D is for your medications. But guess what? Each part has their limitations and might not be able to fully cover you. You gotta brace yourself for some out-of-pocket expenses. Deductibles, co-pays, and co-insurance are all part of the Medicare game. It's like they cover you, but you still might be throwing in some cash, or you may have to throw in some cash. Part D handles your prescriptions, but then there's this thing called the donut hole. It's like a coverage gap where you might be shelling out more for your meds until the big coverage kicks in. And check this out, dental, vision, and long-term care are not on Medicare's VIP list. So if you're eyeing those pearly whites or keeping an eye on things, so to speak, you might need some extra coverage or stash some extra cash. Ever heard of Medigap? It's like a sidekick to Medicare, covering what it doesn't. Think deductibles and copays. Finding the right Medigap plan, it's kind of like finding the right partner in crime. Advantage plans, by the way, aren't always advantageous. Part C, the Advantage plan might look cool, but it comes with its own quirks. Networks, restrictions, you gotta read the fine print before hopping on the train. Let me touch on the evolution of health needs. Aging, as we're all figuring out at this part of our life, means changing health needs. While Medicare covers some preventative stuff, there might be some other screenings and visits we need to consider. Keep an eye on how your health is playing out. Oh, and the long-term care conundrum? Here's the kicker. Most long-term care doesn't make it into Medicare's playbook. Nursing homes? Nope. Planning for the long haul and possibly checking out long-term care coverage insurance is a smart move. So there you have it. While Medicare is a rock star of retirement health coverage, it's not the whole band. Knowing the gaps, planning for extras, and maybe grabbing some sidekick insurance, that'll keep you rocking through retirement. Hey guys, before we jump into myth number 3, could you take a moment and hit that subscribe button? It's a quick and easy way to stay tuned for more upcoming valuable content. Your support means a lot, and I appreciate you being part of our YouTube community. All right, now on to myth number 3. Myth number 3 is you need a ton of cash to have an exceptional retirement. What a bunch of malarkey that is. Here's the deal, having an awesome retirement isn't about swimming in a pool of money. Of course, having financial cushion is great, but it's not the only ticket to a fantastic post-work life. Let's talk about experiences over dollars. It's not just about having stacks of cash. It's about what you do with it. Experiences, adventures, and doing the things you love can make your retirement awesome, even on a budget. Let's be clear, passions don't always break the bank. My wife might argue with that based on some of my passions, but let's get back to the point here. Pursuing your hobbies and passions doesn't have to drain the bank. Whether it's hiking, painting, or perfecting your golf swing, and hunting and fishing, many activities can bring you joy without burning a hole in your wallet. Your friends and relationships can add a lot of value during retirement, and it doesn't cost a fortune. By the way, if they cost a fortune, they're not good friends. Swap them out. Let's talk smart budgeting. It's not about how much you have, but how you manage it. Smart budgeting and financial planning can stretch your retirement dollars even further. Next, health is wealth. Taking care of your health doesn't always have to mean these expensive, fancy gym memberships and eating organic, nutritional, whatever kind of fancy foods. Simple activities like walking, swimming, riding your bike, these things can go, and a home-cooked meal, these things can go a long way to a happy, healthy retirement. By the way, volunteering, let me say something about this. Giving back to your community is a fantastic way to stay engaged and involved without it costing you a dime. The satisfaction of making a positive impact can be more rewarding than any material possession. Oh, and have you ever heard of staycation magic? You don't always have to jet off to these fancy exotic destinations. Sometimes you can enjoy just as much some of the things right in your own state or even in your own backyard. Now, I don't literally mean in your backyard maybe, but I mean your community. But guess what? These things don't come with the hefty travel expense. You gotta embrace the simple joys. Sometimes, just sometimes in life, it's the little things that bring the greatest joy. Listening to a good podcast, a walk in the woods, a home-cooked meal, these are things that can add a lot of happiness to your retirement without requiring a fat wallet. In a nutshell, guys, a key to a fulfilling retirement doesn't have to always be about money. It's how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and what brings joy to your life. Money's nice, there's no question about it, but it's not the only player in the game. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed and got something out of this episode. I really appreciate you guys watching or listening, and until next time, may God bless you.